Dear colleague, ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying, first of all, that I'm very, very glad to be here today because, as I mentioned before many times today, we are having an event and we are talking about solutions and we are talking about the implementation of the solutions. We're talking about the way to monitor them, and we're not talking about the problem anymore as we did previous years. Also, I'm quite glad to be here because that event's quite special. I am going to speak freely, I have to say that. So if you don't mind, I'm going to return some questions to you to make it more interactive. But to get to your question, I would have to say that what businesses have to offer to the SDGs implementation and to a situation like this is their expertise above all. And their mentality, I would rather say. So what we are here to do is to offer a specific methodology, a way towards implementing what we want to implement and monitor that after. So I have listed out three main points that the businesses can offer to the public governance people and to people that they are in charge of this change and implementing the SDGs by 2030. So if you have a look at the screen, so what I have prepared is just three main points that they're going to make a great change if they are being implemented the right way. And one of it is sense of accountability. Now we're going to go down to what that actually means and what it means in practice and how it can be properly implemented. Another very important point of our SDGs implementation plan is education and awareness of the public. If people do not know what we're talking about, they cannot really implement anything, can they? So I'm a very simple man, so I'm talking about simple things. I don't like using a very scientific language because that's one of the things I don't like when I'm going to international events and I'm attending specific conversations like this. I'm hearing many wise people talking about many wise stuff, but they are not stuff from my sector, so I don't really understand them, and I am giving up. And that's what happens to most of the people. They don't understand the very scientific view and language because they're not scientists and they're not politicians and they're not people that they would be able to understand what it really means. And sometimes it happens to me as well, I have to admit that. A third point that I would like to bring up is collaboration between government and businesses and other businesses, international businesses with Russian businesses, and incentives deriving from the government that they would motivate businesses to take more active part in this change. So I don't know if we can go to the next slide. I'm not really good with technology, to be honest. I'm just trying to change it. Apparently that was a wrong remote, everyone, so sorry to let you down. Sense of accountability. So what sense of accountability really means in practice? It means having a more corporate governance model over a public traditional governance model. I'm a firm believer that the change is going to come when we implement changes in a corporate manner. What that means, it means sticking by KPIs, monitor the work that it's been done and monitor the work that it's been done in various levels so that everyone feels accountable for something. Now, you know better, Russia is a massive country and a massive population, and I would believe it's impossible for the central government, for the federal government to implement the changes and monitor the changes and the numbers and the data and process everything on their own. We're talking about a massive scale project. So what they're going to do is they're going to need specific help. How this help is going to come now is one idea that I'm recommending is the creation of SDG monitoring committees in three levels: in a municipality level, in a regional level, and the national level. Now, these committees are going to have specific uses and specific benefits. So suppose that we are creating committees responsible for monitoring and providing data with regards to the SDGs implementation in a national level. That would require a massive number of funds that the central government is not possibly able to provide. So what we're doing is we're making their job easier by giving some specific roles to the people lower down the ladder, like the municipality governments and the regional governments, and telling them that they can use a small part of their fund to create these committees. It's not going to be a big cost for them, and it's not going to be a big cost for the government. So I have summed up 5 of these categories that the commissioners are going to be working on, and that's urban development and planning, it is economy and enterprise, sustainable energy production, public awareness and education, and public welfare and equal opportunities. That's pretty much summing up everything from the 17 SDGs that we want to implement by 2030. With a commissioner of the following fields set in every municipality and being controlled and monitored by a regional government representative who is going to be responsible for gathering the data and evaluating the work that it's been done in a lower level. It's going to later be passed to a federal government representative who's going to evaluate the work that's been done throughout a specific time in a specific place of the country. And it is something we really need. As I said before, we're talking about a massive scale project. And it is vital that we apply business techniques like these of the KPIs, like these of the special committees, that they are supportive instruments for the central government to get their work done. Of course, here in Russia as well, you've got the national projects, as you mentioned before, and what is happening in these projects and how much they are connected with our SDG, with our Sustainable Development Goals. It's a matter of great importance, but at the same time, we're going to have to monitor the results that we are having, and that's going to happen if we manage to delegate jobs that the central government is doing at the moment to regional and municipality levels. So we're going to have to empower our local communities. On another note, we spoke about education, and pretty much everyone here has made a small reference to education and how important it is. But what we need to understand is what are the ways that we're going to introduce the SDGs implementation into our education system. So in what levels that's going to have to take place so that everyone is informed and everyone is aware not only of the consequences if we don't follow up the program that has been set by the UN, but also what are the benefits of actually following the program that has been set by the UN. So 3 categories again, 3 levels of education and awareness for the public. One's going to be taking place through corporations. And how that's going to be taking place is by internal, in-house trainings. So the companies are investing in their people, and they want to do the best so that the people that are working for them are well aware of the goals of the company, and if the goals of the company are in alliance with the SDGs, then the people are going to have to be informed, they're going to have to be trained and constantly updated on what the SDGs are, how they can implement them in their work, and what exactly they can implement, because we cannot implement pretty much everything in every situation, and what are the benefits that this is going to bring for the business. Now that's going to help the current generation that's going to have to deal with this issue, but a very important part of continuity of this project is education by means of secondary education and higher education. The next generation, the people that they're going to have to be brought up with specific way of thinking so that they can actually bring a change as we see. There is a failing system at the moment, and people are going to have to come up with new ideas and find new ways to implement and get us out of a tough spot that we are in at the moment. And of course, a big part of our daily life includes the media and the entertainment industry. People are getting much influenced from Hollywood movies to series that we watch at home. And what we see on TV plays a big role in our behavior as citizens. So if we see an example that is being set on big productions, on entertainment events, on concerts, and everything of that kind, is going to lead to a better approach towards the SDGs and better understanding of this by the normal citizens, that they are the bigger part of this puzzle. So another very important point of this discussion is the collaboration, as I said before, between businesses, between governments and businesses, and the incentive from governmental organizations to actually collaborate and motivate businesses to take a greater part in this change that is coming. By what? By building strong collaborations towards a common future and implementing incentives. So imagine the following thing. Imagine a panel of companies, imagine a group of companies that they are agreeing to go into a collaboration on specific matters and fulfill a checklist, which is going to be set by an expert group, I suppose, and they agree to go on to fulfill this checklist. So now, specific things on this checklist are going to be difficult for them to do and difficult for them to actually want. So what they're going to be in need for is some motivation from the government. That's where the second part of this discussion is coming at, which is governmental collaboration and incentive. Either that is in the form of tax reductions or any other form that's going to motivate the businesses to take a more active role in this discussion. So we really want to see a change and we really hope for the best. And to answer once again your question, I believe the source of the solution, the first solutions are going to be coming from the business sector once the business sector manages to collaborate in a proper way with the governmental organizations.